Alright, first pad up is the Remo snare drum pad. This was the first pad I ever owned, and I bought this because it was available at my local music store, and that's the only reason why I bought it. But it does have some good features to it. This is an actual drum head for a pretty realistic feel, and if I wanted to I could take it off and put it on my drum set. It also has a rim, which again, more realistic, and this rim is tunable with a screwdriver. I wish it would be with a drum key because I'm not trying to carry a screwdriver around with me. But you can tune it, crank it, make it a little tighter, looser. It doesn't really sound much different based on how you tune it. I have it cranked as much as possible and it kind of sounds the same as when it was loose. I would demonstrate the different sounds, but I don't feel like getting a screwdriver, so yeah, you'd be alright. The bottom of this pad has a ring of foam, so you can set it on a table and it won't slide around. It also has this little piece here you can screw it and twist it into a special snare drum stand, which I don't have, so I just put it on a regular snare bucket to play it. If I were to take apart the pad, on the inside there's a layer of foam which the drum head rests on, and you can actually take it out and it'll sound like an actual drum, which is kind of cool, but not really what you want in a pad, so I leave the foam in. So this pad has more of a concert snare drum or drum set snare drum feel to it. So I wouldn't recommend it if you're a serious marching snare drummer because it's just not tight enough. And you can hear it's pretty loud. So I wouldn't recommend playing it at 4 in the morning unless you want to piss off the whole house. So I give this pad a rating of 4 out of 10. Next pad is the Offworld Invader pad. This actually used to have a logo right here carved into it. This was one of the first models to come out, and I know the newer ones have like the little patch you put on. But this is a great pad. It has a rim, which is built into the pad. I know a lot of people have problems with their rims falling off, but that's not going to happen with this pad. This pad has a very realistic feel to it for a marching snare drummer. It gets a lot of rebound from this rubber. And this pad is kind of loud, but not too loud. It's only really loud if you hit the rim shots. The rim is a hard plastic, but the rubber itself is not too loud. The bottom is the exact same rubber as the top, but with no rim, so I mean you could play on that. But there's really no reason to, because the top has the rim. And I guess a small negative thing about this pad is that it is quite heavy. It's the heaviest snare pad I have. So you'll just have to toughen up and carry it around in your bag. I give the Offworld Invader pad a rating of 8 out of 10. Okay, next pad I'm going to talk about is the Remo Puddy Pad. It comes in these cool little containers. They actually have different labels because I got them at different times. This is exactly like those silly putty things in the egg containers that I played with as a kid. So the thing with this is you need another surface to put it on. Really gotta jam it down there. And a good thing about this is it's so small, you'll have to play with good beating zones, or else you're gonna go off of it. And since I have 2 of them, I can practice multiple drums. I can do sweeps, stuff. If I had 5 of them, I could make my own quad pad. So this is a good pad to get if you are super broke and can't afford another pad. You can just get an old piece of wood, put this on, and you're good to go. Some negative things about the putty pad. It's going to come up after you play on it for a while, so you have to keep smacking it back down a lot. And like I said before, you need another surface to put this on. You can't just carry it around and pull it out and put it on your lap. I guess you could, but it might not work that well. But a good thing about this pad is when you get bored of practicing, you can play with it. So I give the Remo Puddy Pad a rating of 3 out of 10. Another pad for the financially challenged drummer is this one. No, it's not a splash cymbal, that's a mouse pad. So you could carry a mouse pad around with you. Very quiet. You can play it pretty much anywhere and not piss anyone off. The problems with playing on the mouse pad, you need a surface to put it on. You can't just play it in your lap. And it's also going to slide around a lot on you like it is for me right now. So I give the mouse pad a rating of 1.5 for style points out of 10. Next pad is the electronic world's fastest drummer pad. So this pad comes with the pad, obviously, and the cords that go to the drumometer here, and also the foot pedal reset switch. Pretty fancy. So, unfortunately the batteries are dead in this right now. Sorry. But if they were to be working, this pad would register every hit and it would show up on here, and there's also a timer that will count down the amount of seconds, so you would end and know how many times you hit. So every year there's the World's Fastest Drummer contest, which you get 60 seconds to play the fastest single stroke roll you possibly can. The most I've ever gotten in 60 seconds is 1007. The world record is currently 1208. So how hard is it to get 201 more strokes? It's really, really, really hard. So this pad is literally the exact same pad as the Remo pad we reviewed earlier, but it looks way cooler because it has this sweet WFD Extreme Sport drumming head on it, and the rim is a neat red color. And this is just a really fun practice tool to have. I use it all the time when the batteries are working. You can do any rudiment as fast as you possibly can. So I give the World's Fastest Drummer pad a rating of 9 out of 10. Next pad is the ReelFeel gum rubber pad. This is about 12 years old, and I may or may not have dropped this in a pool. Good features of this pad: it is double-sided. The top side is soft rubber. Very quiet, you can play it pretty much anywhere. And the other side is a harder rubber. Which is more realistic to the marching snare drum feel. So this pad is named the Pad Monster, has a cute little doggy on it, but he's actually very aggressive! So I give the ReelFeel double-sided pad a rating of 7 out of 10. So the last snare drum pad I have is the Vic Firth Stockpad. Some of the letters peeled off the top there. But this is one of my favorite pads because it is very soft and still has a great rebound and marching snare feel to it. And also it is incredibly light. I pretty much take this pad everywhere with me because it's not big and bulky and easy to carry around. On the bottom of the pad is this black padding, very similar to a mouse pad. So if you need to play extra softly, you can use the back of this. So I give the Vic Firth Heavy Hitter Stockpad a rating of 7.5 out of 10. Alright, so now we'll move on to quad pads. First one up is the Xymox pad. I want to give a shout out to Brian Peacock for selling me this pad in great condition. So first thing about the Xymox pads is they look really cool. Check out this design. It's really sweet. And on the Xymox website, which is a very fun website, you can get all kinds of designs on your pad to fit your personality. So this pad has very realistic feeling rubber. So this pad has rims, which are very useful for quad drummers who are trying to not hit rims. And they sound a lot louder than the rubber, so you'll know if you hit a rim. If you sound like this, not good. This pad also has a 3-spock setup, so you can alternate between practicing on a set of 5 drums and a set of 6 drums, which is very convenient for people who play in multiple ensembles where they might switch it up on you. Alright, so if we look at the bottom of the pad, you can see that it has these holes cut in each drum, and that's to give each of the drums a different tone, just like you would if you were playing wheel drums. And it also has these 3 cutouts, and that's so it sits on the 3 legs of the snare basket and won't move or slide around at all, which is pretty sweet. And you can also see these little pieces are what hold the rim on the other side, and you can notice that a lot of them have fallen out or broken off. I don't know why, but they're, I guess, not put on very well. So some of the rims kind of rattle when I play on them, like the spocks. Like all those pieces fell out, so it rattles, unlike some of the other drums. Which is slightly annoying, but it doesn't really matter. And the rims never come out all the way, like they haven't fallen off ever, so I guess it's alright. This is another pad that's pretty loud, so you probably won't want to play it at like 3 in the morning because you will wake your whole house up. And also it has this neat little cutout on drum 4 that you can put your sticks on and leave, and they will stay there. You can also do it on drum 2. Not the rest of the drums, they don't have it, just those 2. So I give the Xymox quad pad a rating of 8 out of 10. So the next pad is the ReelFeel quad pad, and I'm pretty sure they don't make this one anymore. It has some interesting features. You can see it has 2 types of rubber. There's the soft rubber in the playing zones of each pad, and then the hard rubber is on the outsides of the playing zones, which in theory is a cool idea, but in practice is kind of a pain in the ass. And it's a pain in the ass because depending on where you march, the zones might be slightly different on, mostly on the outside drums 3 and 4. You can see the rubber for the outside hand is really far, and I don't teach or play like that. I like to have it here, which is not in the correct playing zone according to this pad, which I think that's like awkwardly far out. And also for sweeps, you don't play in these zones when you do sweeps. You play pretty much as close to the other drum as you can. And on the 1 and 2 drum, the sweep zone isn't even on the pad. It's like up here. So I'm really playing off the pad, if you can see. It's kind of goofy. And a positive thing about this pad is it's so narrow that it sits into the bucket of a snare drum stand really well, actually, so it'll never slide or move off of the stand. And let's check out the bottom of the pad. It has this kind of weird setup of felt pads, and that's so if you put it down on a table it shouldn't move around, although these have really worn out over the years. And it's also kind of fun to like imagine they were all little tiny drums. And this pad also has a handle built into it, so you can carry it around or do some lifts, build the muscles. So I give the ReelFeel quad pad a rating of 4 out of 10. Alright, and the last tenor pad I have is the Vic Firth Heavy Hitter Quadropad. So the good thing about this pad is it is very soft. So you're not going to annoy everyone in the area. This pad came with no spocks on it, and you had these 2 spocks, which you could either put 1 on or put 2 on. And I put both of them on, even though at the time I was only playing on a set of 5 drums, because I didn't want to waste a Spock pad, so just put them both on, and it worked out well, because twice the Spocks get you twice the ladies. And this pad does not have rims on it. I actually put rims on at one point. I got little pieces of cardboard, cut them out, and duct taped them on. But when they came off, it also ripped the paint off with it, so that's why it's so kind of crappy looking. And this pad originally came with a set of laminates for each drum, and that gave it a more realistic feel, because without them doing sweeps, you really have to muscle it in there because there's no like side rebound on the pad. But after just a few months of using the laminates, the glue peeled off and no more laminates. Which I guess I could have complained and got more for free, but I didn't feel like dealing with replacing them every few months, so I just don't have them. And something I never understood on this pad, right here, you have these two little like circle cutouts, which I guess you could use as a carrier if you have really big fingers to fit in there. I originally thought it was for a set of two puck mallets to go in there to rest them, but who uses puck mallets on a rubber pad? It doesn't work well. So I have no idea why that's there. Alright, so on the bottom of this quad pad, you have these 3 strips of felt, so it won't slide around on a table or floor. And also it would work well on a piano stand. You just put the 2 outside legs of the piano stand here and here, so it won't slide around. But I don't have a piano stand, so I have to put it on this snare stand here. And it doesn't work so well on a snare stand. It'll eventually slide and then start tipping off, and I have to readjust it a lot. So I give the Vic Firth Heavy Hitter Quadropad a rating of 6 out of 10. So the last pad I have is this Vic Firth Heavy Hitter bass drum pad. Props to Taylor Clow for selling me this pad in great condition. This thing kind of looks like a weight. It's so strong. Alright, so this bass pad goes into a cymbal stand, although on the Yamaha stands it doesn't fit in the top part because the hole is too small, which people seem to tell me that a lot. But, so you have to take out the top piece, put it in the next one, which makes it sit way the heck down there. So you could either disassemble a second cymbal stand off your drum set and put that piece in here to make it higher, or you can get one of these clamps to clamp to the top of the cymbal stand and put the bass drum pad in. Again, props to Taylor Clow for selling me the clamp. Alright, so now I'm good to go to play some bass drum. So a cool feature about this pad, if you were to play right in the center, sounds like this. If you were to drift, you get like a series of overtones, so you can tell if you're not hitting right in the center. So as long as you set the pad up correctly for yourself, you'll be practicing your zones very well. So there's no rim click thing on here, so I just hit like this metal piece, which I realize has been chewing my sticks up. As you can see, they're all jacked up where I've been clicking. Now the thing with this, if you were to play a top bass drum, this would be a pretty realistic feel for you, a lot of rebound. But if you played a 32-inch bottom bass, it would not feel like this whatsoever. So it's definitely good in terms of building technique and zone accuracy. But as far as muscle memory of your drum, doesn't really do the job for bottom bass drummers so much as the top bass drummers. So I give the Vic Firth Heavy Hitter bass drum pad a score of 5 out of 10. Alright guys, thanks for watching my drum pad review. Make sure you check out my channel for some sweet drumming videos. And remember, practice.